What's up, snitches? Welcome back to another episode of We Want Gossip with Meredith and Steph. We've got quite the little lineup for you today. Meredith, kick it off. What we got?
So for Gossip of the Week, we're going to quickly touch on So You Think You Can Dance, which is typically outside of our scope, but we have a funny story with it.
We do, and it's came full circle.
It has came full circle. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the infamous Liam Payne interview that just went viral with Logan Paul, and then we're going to finish it off with the MTV Awards. Let's get into it.
Okay, we have a gossip update.
So I recently, as of yesterday, came head to head with my first true sociopath. I mean, believe me, we've seen a dime a dozen, but like this guy was next level on the way home.
And I'm witnessing it. She calls me on her way home. We're both leaving work, and I'm like, we can't spend 2 seconds without. I'm not kidding. We're both in the same parking lot, and it's call from here. What up? What's the update? Within 30 seconds of us literally just sitting in our car seats.
Yeah, but I had one. Yes, I needed to know a little piece of drama. Yep. And so basically I'm leaving the office, and this is the biggest pet peeve that Steph and I have about Colorado is the driving. Oh. Guys, it's bad. Like, I think it just must be like the mosh pit of everybody, like people from California, people from out east, you know, and then I mean, it's the worst drivers ever. And one thing that they always try to do is like pass one person as if I'm not sitting in 5 o'clock traffic going the same speed.
It is every man for themselves on the road, where if you're merging onto a highway like a normal person, it doesn't. There could be lanes all to the left of them that are wide open. Nobody will ever move over for you if you're merging. It could be the craziest thing. It is every man for themselves.
Is that just like sweet home Midwest where people will get over? It's like
it'll come to the point to where legitimately
you are
running
just
off
now
the road
parked
on the side of the road waiting for something to give.
The amount of times I've literally seen people get ran off the road because no one will let them over.
Then we came home for Michigan for like Christmas or something, and I go, let's just pay attention when we're on the road. And like, if everybody naturally just gets over as people are merging onto the highway, me and Adam literally witness. I mean, first time right on the road, heading down the highway, there is not a soul in sight. It's us and one other car in front of us. They see miles ahead that somebody's randomly on the onboard. They will never meet. They will never meet, and they got over. Yes. I go, it is literally just us and them. We have miles ahead. We'll never come in contact with that car. Everybody gets over. Colorado, you bet your bottom dollar that's not happening.
Bet your bottom dollar.
I mean, it's a different breed.
It is really a different breed. Like, when my family comes out, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, nope, it's good. That's just how people drive out here.
We're all going
the
75.
Slamming on the brakes.
Get ready to pump the brakes because we're coming to a standstill halt.
Full stop.
In 0.2 seconds, everybody's screeching their brakes, dipping out left and right.
That is one thing that I've never seen truly until I came out here is like, because it's so, like, people will, like she said, people will be going 75 and then everyone's slamming on their brakes. And because everyone's slamming on their brakes and they know that this is a very common occurrence, they dip off. So if they get hit from the end, they're not crunched. So it's like people are dipping off left and right. So it's like every time there's traffic like that, that's the way the roads are going.
It has been slowly. Like, I always took pride in, like, I love to drive, and I do. If we have our friends, I want to drive, like, because I'm also like a tweak when other people are driving. Like, it's like, even if it's a like dirt bike, ATV, like, I'd rather just be behind the wheel. Otherwise, I'm like, my anxiety's like here.
And I would rather be in the passenger. That's why we're best friends.
And that's why it works. And that's why it works, because I am behind the wheel and she is passenger and she's sound asleep. I'm a little baby rocked to bed.
Call me as first lieutenant. That's it.
But I have been out here slowly, like, more and more driving anxiety. Yeah. If I know where I'm going, I still though have anxiety of like, how do I get over to that lane? Like, everybody's just on another level.
Literally.
But anyways, full circle. Yesterday, she had her first one of many.
But this one was like prevalent because one of the things we were just talking about is like when there's standstill traffic, how people try to just get one around you as if I'm not literally forced to be.
There is a full line. There's nowhere to go around. You think that, are you not seeing all of the cars in front of us at a standstill? Why are you passing? There's nothing to pass.
And like, once I get on the road to where I have to take the exit to get on the highway, I just stay in one lane. I don't need to change lanes. None of that funny business. One lane, and then I'm onto the ramp. And this guy, I'm telling Steph as I'm on FaceTime, I go, this guy behind me is like riding my ass. I mean, like right up next against me. And it's like, whatever. And then he like tries to pass me, but guess what? There's traffic.
Who would have thought?
No one can get around me. Whoa, because they are also in traffic. So he tries to pass me, can't. And I'm on the phone was Steph.
But with her AirPods in.
Yeah, so I just like have my phone like down here. I'm not talking up here.
We're not even on FaceTime. We're on actual call, which is rare for us. We're normally FaceTime, but it's like I literally have my AirPods in and we're over the phone. Like I'm not even looking at my screen. It's over here.
It's just like in my hand. And I watch him. As I'm saying, he just tried to pass me but couldn't. I'm telling Steph like a play-by-play. I look in my rearview mirror and this dude is mocking me on his phone, or like doing this with his phone, and he's like, what?
Like aggressively,
like a huge man.
You're like, oh my god, I think he's mocking me. I'm like, what? And we're ready to swing.
Oh, because at this point, I'm ready to roll down my window and flip off this dude.
And you're like, his head is outside of the window. You're like, what is this maniac doing?
He was fully full head while it's traffic out the window trying to see who's behind him and who's ahead of me. I'm like, dude, I'm not going slow. And also it's like, you can see there's the ebb and the flow of the traffic. Like, come on. So as I'm about to roll down my window to flip this dude off, I see him literally reach and take a huge chug of a tall boy
brewski
beer
in the cup holder, and it's like he's already acting like a maniac.
And
then
he's
drinking
drinking
the beer, and then he's swerving.
So then I go, oh shoot, this guy like must be like drunk or something. Like I don't know if I want to mess with a maniac when just get some road rage.
Right.
So because he's drunk, it's like, Mr. I need to go so fast to get around you is now 50 feet behind me or 50 yards behind me, holding up all the traffic behind him. But then he speeds back up and it's like, now we're merging onto the highway. Steph said it, nobody gets over, so it takes everybody a little bit of time. So there's like 3 cars ahead of me that need to merge before I even merge. And this dude behind me cuts over, almost T-bones this guy. Then he whips his car back the other. I mean, it was like rocking side to side, where I go, I need to get away from this.
And especially even that highway in general, where it's like the amount of accidents there, and it's absolute mayhem. It's not one of those things too where you're merging and it's like somebody will make room. It's like, nope, if you don't see a clear, huge space for you, you're going to end up hitting somebody because nobody's backing down.
When I say, like, that is
it's like
truly,
playing chicken.
Literally, it is like playing chicken where it's
They're
like,
not getting over.
I'm making room because you better let me over. Like, I have truly never encountered this. And
this dude said, let's just whip the wheel to the left and the right in the middle of the highway, got my brewski mocking people. Because before, we were both like, you need to put your middle finger out the window and be like, sir, back off.
Exactly.
Then we saw the brewski and the swerving, and we go, I think we need to fly under the radar. We were like, you need to get as far away from him in your car as you can.
So then we were talking about calling the cops, because I'm like, okay, if he's like drinking and being like a menace to society, it's like, our friend just got into a car accident out here. We don't need any more of that business. And then right as I'm about to grab his license plate, he gets off on the exit. So I go,
sayonara.
And he got off on the next exit after merging onto the highway. I mean, obviously people live there. I'm sure maybe he's going there, but it's also like, he was trying to get over to the left super far, where I'm like, did you just get like pigeonholed into going off the exit because you're being a maniac?
Well, also, there's plenty of people that are witnessing that are, without even seeing the brewski in the cup holder, that are probably willing to call the cops on the way that he's even acting.
Literally being a psycho.
And I've also learned from driving out here, because one time I was on my way home from work and didn't realize that we were about to be in standstill traffic where I'd be stuck with this man right behind me. I flipped him off because he deserved it, well deserved. But not knowing that for the next 20, 30 minutes, we're going to be literally bumper to bumper. He was in my back seat.
Yeah.
He followed me all the way home to where I was like, I can't pull into my driveway. Like, I literally cannot pull in. And then he did. I was going to pull into the police station across the road because I'm like, I don't know what to do with this man. He's been in my back seat because I flipped him off one time. He deserved it. But it's been like 45 minutes, bro. Like, you'd think you'd die down. Because I was bummed up, but I was going so fast to get away from him. And then he ended up peeling off and leaving. But after that one moment when I first moved out here, I go, I gotta reel back the road rage in Colorado. Let's just.
And I feel like it's like that specific person, like the Belcher in the airport, or which if you guys haven't understood the Belcher story, it's coming out soon on our vlog. Basically, we had this guy behind us that was causing a huge scene on the airplane, like screaming at people, being like, F you, control your F. I mean,
as if he was an angel and wasn't literally belching in my ear from behind me the entire flight, full grown man. But
that's why we call him the Belcher.
Yeah,
but it's like, that was one of those situations where it was like, we both wanted to say something to defend these girls, but I'm like looking at his demeanor.
Also 2 a.m. and we're in a different city and we're like, let's just literally pretend, like, let's just move forward.
Yeah, it's one of those times where it's like, we want to say something because that's our natural instinct to be like, can
For
you
sure.
chill
Yeah,
out?
what the fuck?
Why are you screaming at these girls?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, this dude pegs me as a true psychopath. Just like the guy behind me yesterday, where it's like, do I want to flip off this dude that's like driving insane?
No, and
drinking
we're lucky.
while driving?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
You know, it's like I'm not trying to push it that far. Go that way.
So let's get into our lineup for Gossip of the Week. We are kicking it off with So You Think You Can Dance. What's his name again?
Matthew
Morrison. It's so funny. This has come full circle for us.
I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Right before, it's one of those, we call it a Queen 4 situation, where
Yes.
it's one of those things that are like, you talk about and then it happens, or like too many random scenarios that like,
Right.
there's no way that's a coincidence that happen over and over, and we call it Queen 4. We have
there's
different
too many
podcast.
stories with the
We've
Queen
covered
4.
it on a different episode.
Yeah, we did.
though.
I think it's like a couple episodes
Yeah,
back.
but one of those like random things, like so weird, or like when you're watching TV and you say something and then right after immediately the commercial says the exact same words.
Yes.
And you're like, weird coincidence.
Especially when it's like weird
Yes.
words or just like any type of.
Yeah.
Oh, should we tell them the story about
Which
the
one?
tweezers?
Okay, here's Meredith Claire.
Perfect Queen Forest scenario.
Thank you, my dear. Take it away.
Okay, so Steph and I were recently in Indianapolis. That's when we encountered the Belcher on the
Yes.
plane. So we get to the hotel. I grab out my tweezers. I set them on the counter with nothing else. Like where I can picture.
She used them as well.
I used them as
I'm like,
well.
are you thinking you just had them? I'm like, she's like, I physically
Really
used them,
used
and I
them.
never touched them. Never saw them, never touched
No.
them. But it was a part of conversation the whole trip.
Yes. So the very next day, I realized I just need to like tweeze a little bit up
Mm-hmm.
here. So I go, I know exactly where they're at. I saw them literally the night before, so I go exactly to grab them. They're not there. And this just happened to us in Houston with a little makeup compact, like something we just throw in our purse. Like it's got like a mirror and a little
With
bit
us
of powder.
all the time. We are only so many places, and we know when we use them. Nowhere to
And
be found.
also, like, we are very organized in our hotel stays. It's like we know
we
we
have
barely
our travel
unpack.
bags. Everything is travel size. Like we have got it down to a science. So when things are going missing like this, we're like, that doesn't add up.
Right.
It's like a glitch in the
So,
simulation.
The compact was never found.
Yeah,
we
never
literally
found.
never left. It was only
We
in the
both
hotel
used
room.
it. I didn't have one yet.
No.
Like we're like, we both know when we used it.
And it's like,
where would it be?
Scouring through my stuff, scouring through stuff, and it's like it's a $5 compact. It's not the compact, but it's
Yeah.
more the principle
It's
of like
the principle
where
of,
is
like,
it?
Where is it?
So that happens. We never
Yeah.
find it. Whatever. So now it's Indianapolis. I use them on what was it? Wednesday. Use them Wednesday. Thursday, the day of the event, I want to tweeze. I'm like, oh, where are the tweezers? Can't find them. So I'm like, they must be in something because I just used them. So I'm looking through my bag.
All of the
Steph's looking
bags.
through her bag. I mean, we are on hands and knees
Yes.
looking underneath
and so
the
then
sinks.
I'm grilling her. I'm like, "Are you sure you brought it?" You're like, "I just
Must
used
use
it, and I
them.
said it right here." And I'm like, "There's only so many places in this
When I
hotel
say
bathroom."
guys, I can picture it in my mind of it sitting on the
Yeah.
counter with nothing around it.
What?
So
It gets weirder.
it's like just like the compact where it's like, I guess I don't have tweezers
I
at
guess
this
it's
point.
missing. Well, I guess we never brought it.
It's
like,
missing.
Forget it.
Whatever. So I go home. I put tweezers on my list. I go to the grocery store. I get tweezers, new ones. I come back and I'm cleaning through like one of my drawers in my house, and I'm like just trying to like clean that up.
Mm-hmm.
I reach in the back. What do I find? The tweezers. I have one pair of tweezers. They're Revlon tweezers from like 10 years ago in the very back of the drawer. And
Of
what's
your apartment.
Of my apartment.
That we were just gone for 3 days. You come home, randomly have to clean out that drawer. At the very back is the exact tweezers that you used.
in Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis, like,
and what's the funniest
how
part is
in
when
the world?
when I was unpacking my stuff, because I always put my makeup and all my stuff in the same
Yeah.
bag, I was actively thinking like maybe it got hooked to something, maybe the magnet stuck to something, you know, or
Yes.
like maybe it got put in a weird pocket. So as I'm unpacking things, I'm looking for the tweezers, just to find them the next day in the very back after I've already purchased new ones. That's where I go true glitch in the system. Like
Something's gotta give.
There are the random situations
Yeah.
that happen, the weird stuff, but I go, I saw them, I used them
It doesn't.
in Indianapolis.
It's the fact that you use them.
But I don't know to this day how it got there, and also it's like I use my tweezers all the time, so it's like either way they wouldn't be in the back. Like
Why
it
would
just
they be in
makes
the back
no
of the drawer?
sense. It literally makes no sense. The whole thing.
And we still haven't found the compact.
We still have not found the
At
compact.
least the tweezers have shown up. There's no answer to that, but
No.
I'm like, at least we have some closure.
For real.
Some sort. But
Like-
yeah, not sure. And it's like vividly where we're both like that. It's too far. It's too
It's
far.
so weird.
It's a sick joke somebody's playing on
Yes.
us.
So this kind of ropes in because while we were in Indianapolis with the tweezer situation.
Nice transition.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
My queen.
Thank you so much. While we were in Indianapolis, the best thing happened to us because we fly all over, and it's like I think we've talked about in other episodes about like the limited selections with the TV. It's cable. Like when we went to Chicago, it was like all in Russian. We're like, sick. Okay, cool. So this one was allowing us to cast.
Jesus. Oh,
so we were able to watch the Kardashians.
We ordered Starbucks. We laid down in that bed. We showered. We were like nice and clean. Had our Starbucks, our little egg bites, and we were like, let's cast the newest episode of the Kardashians. I mean, we both looked at each other like I'm giddy.
Christmas morning.
It was Christmas morning. We're like, it's little things, just being able to cast on that TV
and get our actual coffee orders. Like, oh my god!
And it was delivered perfectly outside of our hotel room door. No, I didn't have to go to the lobby. I didn't have to send them directions. Oh, not even a knock, just delivered. Chef's kiss, perfect delivery. I mean, we were on cloud 9.
Yeah, we were. So after the Kardashians played, So You Think You Can Dance, the new season aired, and we were watching the brand new auditions. That's why it all comes full circle.
Here we go.
So we're watching the auditions, and Steph is like, oh, there's new judges, like JoJo Siwa's a judge. And we're looking at Matthew Morrison. And a lot of people make fun of Matthew Morrison.
He's an OG, right? Like pretty much an OG, or close. He's been for a couple seasons, right?
No, this is his first season ever. Yes.
I've seen him where else has he judged then? I would not know him outside of it. Would I?
He's from Glee.
Oh,
and he's the one that everybody makes fun of him. Like, do you know? Is that your TikTok? Because that's mine. Where everybody's making fun of Matthew Morrison because he's a weirdo.
Why? I literally thought that he was like for a while on So You Think You Can Dance. But you said that he was weird with a past person, or was that not so?
No. So the other thing with Matthew Morrison.
How about Meredith tells the story? Clearly, I have been on a different planet.
Is Chrishell Crawley from Selling Sunset. Basically, in one of her interviews, she goes, if I married who I was with at 25, she goes, I would have killed myself.
And then
she goes, and you can Google that. And if you Google it, it's Matthew Morrison. Mm-hmm. So
we're watching it on the screen, and you give me that little bit of info, and I'm like, oh, so he's like maybe a closet kind of a weirdo. But
I've heard things about him where he's kind of, I don't know. So anyways, we're watching the new episode, So You Think You Can Dance. Everything's happy duty time. We're getting ready for the event, whatever. Yesterday, we see that he was fired from So You Think You Can Dance for reaching out to one of the dancers.
That's one of the contestants at the moment.
Yeah.
And we had just gotten done talking about how, like, he might be a closet weirdo. Where Chrishell's like, I would have killed myself if I would have married who I was dating back then, which was him. And I'm like... We were both like, something's got to... We were like weird. Really like looking at him, and then just for this to come out of like that he was just recently fired for being a weirdo.
Because what I guess she's saying, the person that made an anonymous tip, was that he was reaching out to her on social media and she felt uncomfortable, so she brought it to the producers, and the producers did their own investigation.
And Matthew, they said he's fired.
Yeah, and
because there's also a part of it that says like, you can't have any sort of like you can't like
interaction with the contestants.
While the season is airing, and it's like. And I think something's weird.
Basically he read the message, but he didn't show receipts. He just read the message. So who knows? But basically he's like, this is all I sent. And it was a message that basically said like, hey, would like to talk to you to go over some things. Like, let me know when there's a good time.
It was about, I reached out to her because we both have mutual friends with like some sort of choreographer. And he was like, I was just trying to help her out.
And try to get her a job as a choreographer. But you made such a great point with that. Yeah.
Where I go, that's, you know what?
That's a classic line.
You know, it's one of those things, maybe it's like, it's you're innocent until proven guilty. You know, I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But then also, though, I'm like, the way that he's like spinning it of like, she should be thanking me for like trying to connect her with this person and like trying
to help her.
Yeah, and I go, how many times have we heard that from like in Hollywood, the movie producers that sexually assaulted multiple people, and then their response is like, I was just trying to help them, or like how they would say like they were guilted into it or felt like they couldn't tell anybody or speak up about it because they were like without me and without whatever I did, you would be nowhere. You would be nothing. Right. And then he has the same verbiage as his excuse. Like, I was just trying to help her out and like trying to help her career. Like, I'm like, that right there gives me a red flag.
Right, because it's like also...
She should be thanking you for making her feel uncomfortable, that she owes you something so that she can keep continuing on for this season.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of why they can't like go and like be friends with them during the season, because it's like...
You're the judge.
And now I owe you something? Thank you? Like, I'm confused. Right.
Like,
and
wait, also,
she's supposed to think. I don't know.
People made like a really good point where it's like, I guess if you're basing it off of what he's saying, sure, the message wasn't bad, but also they're like, it is so strict in everyone's contracts, the contestants, the judges, that you should not interact like managers and employees. It's like, you shouldn't be dating your manager because how many problems does that
Yeah.
lead to? So even if it was you just trying to be nice, it's like, so you're risking your entire career to DM this one random girl?
You couldn't wait to talk about the mutual
choreographer until after?
But she's also supposed to be thanking you for that opportunity, but you guys know each other the same. Like, you couldn't wait till after the season. Like,
yeah, because he was
it's
like,
just one
I
of
know
those things.
I've known the choreographer for 20 plus years. I was trying to help her become a choreographer. But it's like, but if you know how stressed that is on the show, why are you risking it for some random girl that you could give this advice to in 2 months?
Exactly.
So a little sus for us.
A little sus, and the fact that we were legitimately just talking about, like,
Just
is he
watching
kind
it.
of a weirdo? Fired. Right
Boom.
after that. 24 hours, we're like, oh, shit. Like, so, sayonara, Matthew Morrison.
Adios.
Show me those receipts, baby.
So next up is the Liam Payne interview with Logan Paul.
He was Liam Payne, you know, and none of us knew him or his name. I genuinely did not know who he was, what he was about, until somebody said that he was a former member of One Direction with Zayn,
Right.
Harry, all of them, and I go, okay,
Right.
Confused in what world we all give a shit. No, but I mean, great. We always say any press is good press. And him going on the Impaulsive podcast with Logan and Mike Malak or whatever, I think that's how you pronounce it. And let's just say the One Direction fans, they are not happy to hear about the inside scoop, like, of any of the drama that went down while they were a boy band at One Direction. But then there's also the other side of, like, just like the way that I think this dude's struggling a little bit. Like, the whiskey after whiskey. They saw him the night before dancing on the tables, shirtless. A lot of videos have come out since, too, of him at clubs that other people have gotten of him, like, trying to get, like, people's attention, and nobody's like, we're not. He's got some demons, and he acknowledged a little.
Yeah.
But let's start. Where should we begin?
At the beginning. So the first thing that's like apparent is Logan and Mike are late. They were doing some convention
Logan was
thing.
there. Well, he was actually late, but then
He was
everybody
late.
else was even later.
Yeah. So basically they were like all at this convention. That's why Liam was there, was because he was also at this convention, and they were like, you should come on the podcast. And they all saw him the night before, like you said. And it was like, it's almost one of those people where it's like, you know they're overdoing it, but you're just kind of like going with the flow. You're like, whatever.
Like,
so it's like, this is fairly earlier in the day. And it's like, he's like, I want a whiskey. And they're all like,
they show up. And
okay.
He had a bender of a night the night before. He was like, you guys were out till like 6 a.m.
Literally.
And you were on the table at one point with your shirt off.
Yes.
And then they walk into the podcast in the afternoon, and he has another whole glass of whiskey.
Where
and
it's
whiskey
like, I can't even think about drinking the next day when I'm hungover.
No. And
like, I'm not
especially,
a type of person that's like hair, what do they call it? Like the hair of the dog? No. I'm the type of person that's like, give me McDonald's and let me sleep
yeah,
and like
I
recover.
also feel like on a podcast too, I'm like, I feel like whiskey is a
whole different ballgame.
Another ballgame. It is one thing, like, I think it actually makes it, like, more sociable. Like, when I watch, like, Tana's and stuff,
Yeah.
like, they all have, like, a White Claw or something, but,
Yeah.
and maybe, like,
I'll always have, like, a
little,
beer.
like, pint of, like, tequila that they're all, like, passing around here and there for, like, a shot. But he has a full glass of whiskey. Another whiskey. I go, oh.
He goes, bring two over here.
One whiskey should put you on your ass.
Yeah.
Like, and also whiskey drunk, we all know, I mean, I feel like for anybody, it's a different type of
Everyone
drunk.
is a different
It's a different
drunk.
type of drunk. Like, vodka, don't get me started. There will be a hole in the wall. But, so he was kicking it off, just being a little bit out there. And it's one of those things where, like, watching Logan and Mike's, like, their reactions to him, it bless their hearts for, like, not making him feel, like, uncomfortable or, like, he's being a total weirdo. And they also, like, they need to keep encouraging it to get the views. But what are some of the other?
Pull up the. So this person on YouTube was really good about like categorizing it, and we both acknowledged. Like, when we started watching the podcast, like as the beginning was starting, we're like, I don't really understand.
I don't think it's that bad. He's definitely different and a little bit of a weirdo, but I didn't think it was anything to be like what everybody was like
freaking out about.
And then as it progressively went, I go, yeah. I can see how this dude's kind of a weirdo. So first one, this person on the comments, you guys go to the video. It is right there. It breaks it down. Somehow during this video, they go, somehow Liam convinced himself that number One Direction became a rock band.
Yeah, he did say that he was a rock star.
He goes, when I forget the rock star's name that's like one of the Rolling Stones, or you know what I mean? Like one of the OG rock stars that he was like meeting with over music or something. And he was like, you guys are like at another level. Like, or like,
he was just like
bragging as if like he got, like, what is it called? Confirmation from actual OG, like, rock stars back in the day saying, like, that you guys are, like, the new rock band. You're One Direction on Disney Channel. I will stop you right there.
You're a pop boy band. You're like NSYNC.
You are not the Beatles. You are not Queen. You are not, like, and that's fine.
Every comment he makes is always like sprinkled with something for his ego, which is something that I kept coming back to, where it's like, look at this picture of me from 10 years ago where 15,000 people were waiting outside my hotel room. But it's like, okay, that's cool. And it was definitely in the rise of One Direction, but it's like, that picture's from 10 years ago. Why are you pulling it up for the people in the podcast to look at? Okay, point 2.
Number 2, One Direction was created for him. Like, come on. Let's get real. No, first of all, you went on X Factor and then you got kicked off of X Factor. Then when they were after America's Got Talent?
No, it was X Factor.
Was it still X Factor?
Yeah.
And then
because he basically said come back in 2 years. He had first auditioned when he was 14, and then he was like come back in 2 years. And I guess what he's saying is him and Simon Cowell had a private discussion in Simon's house where One Direction was created because of Simon's promise to him that this is gonna happen.
But and that they like curated the group around him.
No, he was the first face.
No, when I swear to God, he even ended up saying like that. It was like, no, you were called last.
No, and also what he was saying was that he was actually kicked off the show the second time around. And then after being kicked off the second time, they were like, maybe come back and we might try to make this work with like a boy band. So that whole piece was kind of weird. Also, like how he's like, I always have the intro verse because I'm not scared of the crowd. Like
they were like, Liam, we need you to kick it off because you have no nerves. Oh my God. And also, it's one of those things where it's like, the people that have money don't talk about their money.
Totally.
The people that think they have money and want to pretend they do talk about money. That kind of shit. Or like when we deal with like IT executives, if you have a lower level somebody in IT, they're like, I'm a manager, I'm not talking to you. Oh, but funny how the chief executive officer has the time of day.
Right.
It is a whole different dynamic where it's like if you've made it, you don't have to prove to people that you've made it. It was not created for you, buddy.
No, because when he's talking about himself, it's like, look at Harry Styles. It's like you're getting trashed in the back at Coachella. Well, Harry is headlining Coachella with Shania Twain.
Oh,
you're going to talk about how you had 15,000 fans standing outside your hotel room 10 years ago. You know, it's like, doesn't really seem as relevant as you think it does.
Mm-hmm. And that third point, that he was the leading member of the group.
Yep,
coincides.
Of course.
And that he could or would beat up another member of the group or paralyze someone's arms. And that's where he was saying that one of the members threw him up against one. He's like, and he goes, we were in a fight like backstage and he threw me up against the wall and I said like, if like you better let go or if you want to use these hands again, like as if you're gonna paralyze the man.
Yeah.
And like you're still talking about that from when you were like 17.
Yes.
And that he had the number, like, oh, well, when we broke up, I had, like, the most, like, singles
6 billion streams, and I was the last one to go. Well, everybody else did their singles before me, and I was the last one, and I got the most streams.
When's the last time you came out with something that anybody even gave a shit about? I don't even know who you are at all, besides this podcast, so.
Like, some girl on TikTok, hello, Teffy, she was like, people were asking, because she always covers pop culture, people were asking, like, what do you think about the Liam Payne interview?
Yeah.
And she's like, when you deal with a narcissist, she's like, I don't care if it's your boyfriend, your dad, your boss, your ex-best friend, I don't care. She's like, you can spot them like it's nothing. And she's like, that's all I got from watching this entire interview, especially when especially when Liam was talking about Zayn. Yeah. It's like a lot of people don't like Zayn, a lot of people got problems, but like unpacking his like childhood trauma, like basically he was like asking Logan, he's like, are your parents supportive? And he's like, they're supportive. And he's like, mine are so supportive to like a fault. And he's like, Zayn basically got forced into this for the wrong reasons, and like his family's not supportive, and if he went through what we had to go through, like I would be a totally different person, and like I don't like the guy and he's a dick, but like I can commend him for what he went through. And I'm also like, Zayn's never talked about his family life in the public, in the press.
He doesn't talk about you, he doesn't talk about anybody else, and I'm like,
where it's like, so that's something we don't know from Zayn, that he had like a rough childhood, or like where his parents maybe forced him into this life. Mm-hmm. But now we just got that all from you, which is funny because it's not your life or your history. So it's like that whole piece was weird. It's like, don't be talking, especially when it goes into the childhood trauma. I go, don't even touch that with a 10-foot
Because
pole.
the fact that none of us have ever heard that from Zayn himself remotely, even all of the shit that Zayn has remotely been in the press, we've never heard that. So I'm sorry, but that is not for you to speak on.
No.
And if he ever remotely trusted you with that information, how dare you, even 10 years down the line, like remotely use that against me? I don't care if it's your follow-up to why you hate me.
Right.
But that is not, like, other people's shit is not for you to speak on. Like,
the whole thing was really weird. It was not a good look for him. That's for sure. It was weird vibes,
definitely. That I'm like,
even just the way he was talking about his wife, or not his wife, his ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, that they have that baby bear. And it's like hearing him talk, like that's her number one priority. So she lets me go live my life. I'm like, but that should also be your number one priority. You know, where it's like, she's great. She's so awesome. That's her number one priority. I get to go off and do my own stuff. But like the one day a week I get to take him to school is like the best time of my life.
He loves that, but I haven't been home in 6 months.
Yeah.
And, a little cherry on top. We came full circle too. We were trying to figure out how Bryce Hall came into this. With the drama on TikTok with Liam's like ex-fiance. So in the podcast, Liam like mentioned how he'd be like open to like doing the fighting thing, like everybody's doing,
like Logan and Jake,
right? And then they were like, what about like Bryce Hall or whatever? And he was like, I don't know, about talking about basically fighting like Bryce. And then there's that classic audio clip from when Bryce, or it was actually, she used Tana Mojo's, where she was like, Tana Mojo said to the press a while back after the fight with Bryce, or before the fight with Bryce, that it was like, we're all team Bryce out here on God.
She goes, not my beef, but we're all team Bryce on God.
And so knowing that Liam's ex-fiance, after this interview comes out, posts on TikTok with that audio, like basically like, we're all team Bryce. I mean, clear as day.
Yeah.
It's like but good for her.
Yeah.
And that right there, where it's like when I'd rather him not talk shit about her, because otherwise I would have been extra pissed if he even remotely digged her during the podcast. But I'm also like, you didn't even address anything like about her necessarily, besides like her and your kid, but she clearly has some issues, because he obviously recently got caught with photos all over another girl, where everybody thought that's why they broke off the engagement, because everybody thought these photos that he had all over another woman, it looked like from the shots, it looked like it was his fiance, this girl that we're talking about. But then she posted, she goes, stop tagging me in these photos of my fiance with another woman. It's not me, and it sucks. And so then she follows it up with the Bryce thing, and I'm like, funny how you don't really want to dive into that, because if she got invited onto the pod afterwards, it'd be like, let's air out the dirty laundry.
Yeah.
It's
like, I feel like, there's a way to be like talking about your accomplishments, because it's like, it's not wrong of him to be talking about
especially
the fact,
during an interview where they ask you like, so tell me about what you've done in the past, or what you do, like.
And that's just something that Billie Eilish has talked about in the past, like when she's hanging out with real people, like hanging out outside of her job as a celebrity. She's like, it's hard to get out of that conditioning of feeling like you're always in an interview where you're always talking about yourself, where it's like, so I'm sure since he's been 15, 16, he's been conditioned to always talk about himself. But it's like, there's a way to do it humbly instead of doing it so cringe, especially when you have Harry Styles and Zayn a part of the mix. Like, do you think Harry Styles would go on this podcast and be like, yeah, I'm like got the most like headlining shows over anybody else in the group. Like, I just headlined Coachella, and it was like they, cute, but they didn't headline Coachella. Cute though.
Yeah, for sure. Love that audio. And it's like, I don't wish ill on him. I just thought, like, honestly didn't read the room, and the whole thing just made me feel really weird inside.
Yeah, like, it's the classic, I feel like it really is, and you hit the nail on the head. Like, maybe he just needs to work through some stuff, but it's the classic messy dude at a party.
Yeah, he is.
Where he's talking about headbutting his boss, headbutting his manager,
funny.
Fighting his bandmates the night before in Minneapolis, people. Minneapolis.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's like,
no, where it's like you're getting trashed in Minneapolis on a weekday where you're taking your shirt off. Just like all of it mixed together, I go, you just seem like a messy dude.
You have a lot to work through before you open your mouth again on another podcast. But if you want to come on, the door's open. All right, now we are moving on to the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Yes.
Just a couple little things,
Highlights.
Couple little highlights, cringeworthy things. So first of all, it was obviously Vanessa hosting, and then Tayshia.
That was the piece that we were like.
We never saw Tayshia because we didn't watch it. But.
It's so funny because I follow Tayshia, and she was like the looks of the night, and she had 7 different looks throughout the night. Yes, personally, throughout the night of the MTV Awards, she had 7 different looks. So I go, why do you have so many looks? And then I was trying to look in the comments, and nobody was saying anything. I go,
what about your night was different compared
why
to everyone
are
else
you
where you have so many looks?
7 times, but everyone else is just wearing 1 look?
Yes.
And then I found out she hosted. I go, that makes sense why she would change looks so much. But also I go, where was the press?
Yeah,
where was the hype for Tayshia?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, I think it's hard for MTV to keep getting the big celebrities there.
Totally.
I think Beyonce was there. She won something, but everybody else, it's what it is.
It's not the VMAs.
Yeah.
It's the VMAs.
Oh.
Those are popping off.
Yeah.
Those are the MTV Music Awards, chef's kiss. But it's this one, it does feel very much
it's
kids'
all
choice.
yes, and it's all it's so clear. I can assume for all the other ones too, but it's so obvious how pre-orchestrated this is of who's winning, who's whatever, that I'm it doesn't seem like it was a surprise, where we're Census Row and Vanessa. We love Vanessa Hudgens. Yeah. I do really like her. But that I guess when she was hosting, it's anytime she would crack a joke or say something, she would do a really nervous giggle afterwards, where it was are you good up there? Where I'm you're hosting, but the delivery, I guess, wasn't quite on point where a lot of people had to turn it off.
Well, remember what she posted in the very beginning of the pandemic, where she's people are dying.
And we don't care. And
I'm I go, that aged so badly, where I go, what are you genuinely thinking as a celebrity posting that?
And that's the last time before this that I heard of her.
I feel fully. Almost once you're in that celebrity world, it almost kind of feels are you not around normal people enough to feel what they're feeling, to be wow, that's a little tone deaf. Wow, that's a little weird and out of pocket. Mm-hmm. Where it's I would have never, even if I was a celebrity or a normal human being like I am right now, go on my personal Instagram and be COVID, people are dying.
Are you guys gonna cry about it?
Where? I don't care if I'm a celebrity or a normal person. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's when people post really racist, homophobic, anything on Instagram. I go, the amount of steps you had to get there to post that when you're a celebrity and not think of the repercussions.
For real, that I'm
where it's
and it's tough, even when we talk about the Kardashians, where I'm a lot of time, when people have so much feedback on anything they do, I get that it's at a certain point, they've just got to live their lives and be we live different lives, but I still have to live the version that I'm living. But then there are times where I'm still but there's also the point of then you can't really be mad when you're so blatantly tone deaf sometimes that we all have feedback to it.
Right. And also with the Kardashians, they get a little bit of a grace because their entire life is recorded on the show. Everything they say, do is for us to consume as, entertainment. Whereas Vanessa, you're not on a reality show. So everything you're putting out for us as from you personally you to us, that's you in my eyes.
You chose to record, post, publish, write out, or you should fire somebody from your team who did it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was even written down. My God. So that was for the host, and then there was a couple things too that were so premeditated that were just so obvious. So best kiss. God damn.
And we
all know
have a lot of stake in the game with the best kiss.
Every year, nobody can drop it. The best kiss, and it is Ryan Gosling and
Rachel McAdams.
Thank you. From The Notebook, and they did the big embrace. I mean, it lives down in history.
Where he picks her up, and it's
we're all it's the best kiss. That's all we're here for. We need another moment like Ryan and Rachel. And so the nominees were a bunch of good people, including Zendaya and Tom Holland from Spider-Man. But then obviously everybody was oh, Zendaya and Tom Holland aren't there. Well, you want to know why? Because everybody already knew who was winning. And it was, which don't get me wrong, I love Jackass. But from the newest, the movie number 4, the most recent Jackass. Yeah. One of the guys, Poopies is his name or something like that. And he's funny as hell. You know him, you saw him in it, in the other one.
Oh, yeah.
And, but he kisses a snake in one of the scenes and it bites his face and stuff. But yeah. He won Best Kiss.
Cute.
With the snake from Jackass. And then because every time you win Best Kiss, you have to go up and do your kiss with whoever who also won it with you from that scene. And they already have the snake there. It's okay, so obviously Zendaya and Tom Holland are not making it all the way to the stupid MTV Awards for the snake to get it, that they already know the snake is getting it. Next up was a best fight. So they show all of the trailers for who's up for getting the award for the best fight. It's all the Marvel, like all the action scenes, obviously top notch. Then they show Euphoria, Cassie and Cassie and Alexa Demi, but Sydney Sweeney and Alexa
Demi, Cassie and Maddie.
Thank you, from Euphoria. And they're like the last clip. And believe me, love them to death. But how are they winning? Euphoria wins. Best fight scene.
I guess I
get the argument. I get the acting. Maybe best like role, but like best fight out of the Marvel.
That's what I'm saying. Where it's like I feel like it almost needs to be like clarified a little bit because it's like technically if we're looking at all the Marvel scenes and then it's like
that's not a physical fight. They never got in a physical fight.
It's not a physical fight, but also it is a realistic fight.
Yes,
it's very realistic.
Yes.
So it's like, are we talking about best action sequence?
Action scene?
Action scene.
Fight scene?
Because that, I feel like, almost rings a little bit more true
I would say drama fight scene. You know, like a drama.
Right, because it's like...
There was no actual fight. It was just verbal.
Well, actually, I think Maddie did punch her in the face.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch the last episode, but I didn't think they actually.
No, yeah, I think Maddie punched her because remember she was on the stage and then she's like, somebody's got to put this bitch down, and she gets up there.
Yeah.
So I think it actually did get physical.
Yeah, and it was great. Like I commend them. Love Sydney. Love Alexa Demi.
We love Sydney, and she looked damn good in her Barbie doll outfit she wore.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely loved it.
Loved
Anybody that
outfit.
says any different about Sydney Sweeney could wear anything in the world. My queen. My absolute queen.
It is her absolute queen.
I mean, she can do no wrong. She fixes cars. She's the cutest little button. Like, I'm like
literally.
There is nothing that I don't like about Sydney Sweeney. So I will give her any award any day. But I can see how that's like, once again, best kiss, best fight. I'm like,
right, because I see both sides.
If people were voting, people wouldn't have voted for that.
You're right.
They would have best fight. Like, I'm sorry, if that's what we're voting for, like, it's probably the action scene.
Right. So, Chrishell Crawley from Selling Sunset, couple of things with her throughout the night. Let's talk about the first one. Her joke when she was announcing. She basically, like, messed up her word. She was like, all real estate agents need to be expanding their sexuality. I mean... like assets.
It was supposed to be where like that end word.
That was supposed to be the punchline of the day.
That was the punchline, but she messed up
the words before, so it almost seemed like a Freudian slip. A Freudian slip, you know, where it's like they say the wrong word and it's like sexual or like a swear word.
Yes, like on the news where it's like
and like something cock
instead of the boat dock, it's the boat cock, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you just said that on national TV." That is funny. That me and Meredith will love to go on YouTube and just look up like
news bloopers.
News bloopers. It will send you guys into a tizzy.
So funny.
It's so every time it's so funny. There's so many good ones. But this was one where I'm like, she was so close to hitting the punchline because she was only supposed to purposely swap those last words, but she fumbled the words before, and so the whole thing was just like, haha, are we laughing? I don't even know what you just said, ma'am.
And like when I say my first initial thought, I didn't even catch the joke. I thought she fully messed up.
Yeah.
And then
I had to watch it a few
talked
times.
to me about it, and she's like, no, I think she was supposed to say. And then I went back and I go, wait, I just didn't watch close enough. Like that was supposed to be the joke.
Yeah, she missed that one. But you know what? That's something that is one of those things for her. She's gonna think about it at night when she goes to bed. That's like, I made that really weird.
Are you kidding? I have not forgotten to this day messing up my speech in 6th grade for student council.
That's what I'm saying. It's the little things that like. We're going to have something by tomorrow. I mean, this isn't even top of our conversation with her, but it's like, but she will be thinking about for years. What was your 6th grade one?
Yeah, well, because when you tried to be in student council in 6th grade at this time.
I remember seeing you guys on that
with
TV.
Technology, because remember, it's like, they didn't know how to edit a clip. So it's like, basically when they start off, my teacher was like, all right, listen, everybody gets up, gives their speech about why they want to be in student council. He's like, but I can't stop the recorder because it's like frickin' circa 2005.
And it's like, we're all in the classrooms of watching it.
Every single person that wants to be, and it's like all the people that want to try out for it. So it's like all the people that want to try out, I'm literally up there watching and I'm up there giving my speech, and it's one of those things where you look down, you're giving your speech, everything's going good, you look down and you lost your place. And I look down and I'm like, I look up and I literally go, sorry. Go back down.
Sorry, gotta find my
going
spot.
Again. And then at the end, after Mr. Heathouse already had said numerous times, we can't stop it. What do I do at the end? Hey, is there any way I can go back and do mine? He's like, I literally said no.
Fully on recording.
And then I remember I walked out of the classroom after it aired, and this random girl was like, hey, I watched you mess up. I go, cute, thanks.
Thank you for that, because middle schoolers, I mean, are just ruthless.
And how literally messed up that is. When you get into student council, when you're in a high school, you just write like a paragraph and send it in, and people vote online.
Nobody cares to see it on the screen.
Nobody cares.
Luckily,
bless your heart for
trying, but my God,
Jenna.
But it's one of those things that I do not like. I don't remember you ever messing up. I remember watching people on the TV or whatever, like trying to pitch their thing. I don't remember you messing up, but you will live with that for the rest of your life.
Oh, I've done that a few times.
So honestly, I can't fault Chriselle if she had to go back, because I would have cried about it. Even though it, like, genuinely, I could have met. The fact that people can even anytime, if I'm actually surprised when somebody reads a teleprompter at an award show and gets it right.
Mess up
for sure, because
it's going so fast.
All of your peers are watching. You're reading from a screen. Like I would all of a sudden be like, I don't know what world I'm in, what year it is. I would choke.
It's literally the worst. I'll tell you right now.
It's keeping her up at night, I'm sure. How could it not?
Oh yeah. And then the other thing about Chriselle, which was good, was a couple things. After Selling Sunset won Best Docu-Series Reality TV Show, which I'm confused because the Kardashians is that.
Once
so
again,
how did they not win?
But
I don't know if they were a part of it yet, because it was from like the past year Kardashians started.
Yeah, you're right.
But they won, and it's like there's a clip of them all celebrating where Chriselle is. So she's hugging her new partner, G-Flip, and Jason comes in, her ex-boyfriend, and they're all hugging, and Chriselle looks dead at the camera and goes, what's happening? I go, hey.
A good, group
Jason,
hug.
G-Flip, and Chriselle all hugging it out. Cute.
Maturity in these parts, even though Christian's like, what is literally going on?
Literally.
I'd be like, is this for the cameras though? Because in what world are we? Like, I am sorry, but I will be the first to say I am not that mature of a person. We could be on good terms, but I'm not hugging your new person.
No.
Sorry, like we're not on hugging terms.
Not yet.
I think if anything, I'd avoid them throughout the night to just be like, I was busy the whole time on the phone. Like, we don't gotta go there.
And then the other thing about Chriselle, which was actually very sweet, was she was nominated for like Best Reality Star before she announced her new relationship with G-Flip. And she was kind of worried about like, we never knew it, but like she said, she was like, I didn't know if I was going to win this award because I just came out with the fact that I'm bisexual and like really,
is that going to sway the audience?
Is that going to sway the audience? Are people going to react to it negatively? So she's like, the fact that I won this still, even after everything came out in the press about me dating G-Flip, she's like, it's such a win. And it really is.
Yeah.
It's like, that's probably, I didn't even think about that anxiety that would cross her mind, but the fact that she's feeling that, I'm like, poor gal.
Yeah, because it's like, we don't know how it feels to be in her shoes, but that, hearing that is a valid point of something that I could see her being concerned about, and I'm glad that it went the other way.
Right, for real.
All right, Stitches, that is a wrap on this week's episode of We Want Gossip. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, hit like. We're trying to get monetized in this bitch.
Let's go. And we will see you Snitches next week for another gossip update.
It's one thing to have like... Oh my fucking God.
Saw my first true so. You know what?
No, I know. You want to start it again?
Yeah, I do. And we...
Okay, we have a gossip update.